年夏の参議院選挙から適用される見通しです。
できたばっかりだから。
オセロキング伊藤純也が大逆転。ついにキングの意志が竜王を上回る。
The voting age has been lowered for the first time in 70 years. Some 2.4 million people who will be 18 or 19 years old next summer will join the ranks of eligible voters in an upper house election.
Teenagers would be eligible to vote in the upper house election in the summer. We decided to check out the voter turnout data. These are the figures for the past 10 lower house elections. Voter numbers have been low in recent years. In particular, voters in their 20s stand out for their failure to go to the polls. In the lower house election last year, only 32.6% of eligible voters in their 20s cast ballots. The figure was 20 percentage points lower than the general average. Politicians faced the challenge of urging young people to join the electorate against this backdrop. Efforts to educate the young about their voting rights is gaining attention. Schools are holding mock elections to increase the interest. Starting in the fall, the Education and Internal Affairs Ministries jointly plan to distribute to all high school students texts and materials on voter education. We visited the high school that has been enthusiastically taking action to increase the young's interest in politics. This is a high school in Turkey. Mock elections being held to get more interested in politics. Picture announcements on those in the 20s actually casting votes. It says as a result, not reflected in the result. Young getting the bad end of the deal. The students in their last year of senior high school will be eligible to vote next year. It demonstrates how voters cast their ballots. This mock election, which recreated the lower house election last year, was held last week. Posters of candidates from various parties were posted on the walls. The school borrowed its local election committee ballot boxes and other items actually used during voting. The school is urging students to take their time when deciding who to vote for. This is because they want the students to think about their own values when deciding which party or candidate to support. The school prepared policy platforms for all the parties to maintain political neutrality. They had students hold discussions to pinpoint key policies, as well as the weaknesses of each party's policies. The student says this party only mentions the March 2011 earthquake disaster. The student says reconstruction efforts are slow in coming. The student says this party needs a firm platform. This third student says with parties that have listed everything they can think of, they'll never be able to address and resolve all the issues. One student says one party pledges to boost the marriage rate among the young generation and support them in rearing children. It hasn't explained how this would happen. A student says one party made no mention whatsoever of disaster preparedness when the nation has been hit by a series of eruptions and earthquakes. While keeping in mind the opinions of others, each student decided which party to vote for. They took to the polls after an hour of debate. They supported the party they believed was best for their future. says it was not an easy choice to make. Another says before they took part in this class, she felt she bore no responsibility because she believed Japan would turn for the better despite the greying society. Politicians listen to what young people have to say. The student was more skeptical. She says she wonders if the opinions of the young will be reflected because at present politicians are not doing anything to benefit the young. Faculty member teacher with long experience in further education says the young will be more interested in politics if they identify with the social issues. The teacher says not that the students are clueless. In fact, if there are opportunities, they can express their own views and thoughts. She says it's important they cast their ballots while keeping in mind their own views. We hear from the head of the Japanese Association of Electoral Studies, Yale University professor Yoshikazu Iguchi, who says the young are not voting. They have little interest in politics. He says this trend must change, as they must carry the country forward one day. This, he says, voter education is important. He says politicians will need to address young people more. He says political parties and candidates must make efforts to express their policies in simple language, but with deeper meaning for first-time voters.
The impact of the revision is not limited to just lowering the voting age to 18. The civil code should be amended, or the current provisions stipulates anybody 20 or older to be adults. The incumbent juvenile law identifies anybody younger than 20 are juvenile and therefore should be protected. This age limit must also be adjusted in line with the current law. Are the newly identified adults then are permitted to enter into the trade contracts? Are they allowed to bet on the horse races? Can they apply to acquire the national licenses, including the architectural designers? This lowering the voting age has a wide spectrum of impact. The civil education, in addition, will also be called for to nurture the strong sense of responsibility and the awareness of duty, among things. In South Korea, another person has died from MERS, bringing the total number of deaths from the virus to 20. And there are even more confirmed infections, bringing the total to 162. Infection with the Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus can cause acute pneumonia and other serious problems. The World Health Organization says the MERS outbreak shows that all countries need to be on guard against serious infections that can occur at any time. This person says they wonder whether the patient will be willing to go along with that. South Korea has been prompting some people to curtail travel plans or postpone events. The city of but it was called off after a while. The South Korean government international concern. But it does say the outbreak has been a wake-up call. This was a comment from the WHO's Assistant Director General, Keiji Fukuda.
They can appear in any country, and so one of the messages from the emergency